What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer. This time between the Equilibrium Brewery, and they're out of Middletown, New York, and the Parish Brewing Company, and they're out of Broussard, Louisiana. And this is their Ghost in the Laboratory. So they are calling this one a double IPA that comes in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just under 1 month old. And I'm gonna give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a couple good friends of mine and fellow beer tubers, Dan and Mike over at FLX Beer Reviews, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to them. In the description box, I will not only post a link to their channel, which I highly recommend checking them out. They do some great reviews, great content, great guys in general, but also the beer haul video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with, along with our good friend and viewer of both of our channels, Steven. I believe it was Dan who purchased a couple 4-packs off of the EQ website. He gave one of those 4-packs to Mike, and then Mike gave me a can from his 4-pack. So huge thanks to both of them for this one. I wanted to pick this one up when it got released, but had so much beer, I was like, forget about it. And then I saw it was available again, and then I talked to Dan, and we were like, nope. I was like, FOMO, never mind. A little bit later, I think it was like a week later, they put it back up again, and Dan bought a couple 4-packs. So here we are reviewing this one. So really excited about this one. So this is basically a mashup of Equilibrium Straight Out of the Laboratory and Parish's Ghost in the Machine. But the Ghost in the Machine, but I think I was gonna say Ghost in the Machine, it's just the malt bill. I think for both they're using the grain bill, the malt bill. The actual hops in this one are mostly Citra, I believe. It might be all Citra. I think it's Citra Incognito, Lupo Max, and they're also doing T90 and a couple others. Here's the thing: I've never had Ghost in the Machine. I never had Straight Out of the Laboratory, so I don't know what to expect out of this one. I'm kind of going in blind to some degree. I don't drink a lot of Equilibrium last couple years since they got distribution. The prices have been crazy. Luckily, they're starting to come down, and I actually have another Equilibrium in the fridge that I'll be reviewing. Parish, we don't get distro here. I still want to try Ghost in the Machine at some point. Maybe we'll make it happen at some point. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But there's so many beers out now that, you know, it happens. So anyway, let's pour it into the beer tree glass and go from there. So it's pouring out what I kind of expected to pour out as. It has that, you know, deep orange, honey orange, murky, almost turkey gravy type of vibe. A lot of EQ beers are a little bit darker like this. About a finger, maybe like 3/4 of a finger of a off-white, super creamy looking head. Looks beautiful. Very murky and turbid though. Kind of expect that. Let's get a nose. Okay. Oh man. Ooh, what is that? So I'm getting a lot of citrus, but then there's also this like nice honeydew kind of character. Pineapple and passion fruit. Almost like they're using Galaxy, but I don't think they are. It's all Citra. Almost has a little bit of a hop burn in the nose. And this is just under a month old. I think they did a second batch of it, which is why they put it back up. And I think they canned it again. I'll date the review. I don't know I'm going to post this, but I think the canned on date on this is like, it's hard to read, but it's either 1/28 or 29. And I'm doing this at the end of February, so right around a month old. Yeah, it smells really good. It has a lot of juicy and like candied citrus tones, but then there's a little bit of that green like hop burn, slight bit of like dankness, almost like an onion garlic thing. Little bit of there's a very small touch of like a malt character. It's hard to get past that like really fruity citrus and like honeydew for me. There's a lot of like sweet orange and tangerine, ruby red grapefruit, like you sprinkled some sugar on it. It smells really good though. Let's get into it. Cheers everybody. Thanks again to Dan and Mike. So, you know, I haven't drank a lot of EQ lately, but I kind of know, I guess it's probably the yeast mostly, or maybe just like their malt bill. It's very similar for most of their beers. A lot of people refer to it as like what, EQ juice. To me, I always get like this nice, and I used to compare them to Old Nation and like M43 and Boss Tweed. Very similar in terms of like, to me, I get a very acidic, like orange type of vibe on the taste almost every single beer I've ever had from EQ. Body in this is higher side of medium, lower side of full, really big for 8.5%. The mouthfeel, super soft, smooth, and creamy, fantastic mouthfeel. This is the body mouthfeel and I've said this in a lot of Treehouse reviews, but I just want to drink this beer for the body and mouthfeel alone. The body's big enough to let you know it's a bigger beer, but it's not like super crazy thick and viscous. And then the mouthfeel is just like a pillow. You just want to kind of rest your head on it, and it's like you're drinking a cloud. Like the mouthfeel is fantastic for this beer, personally. But the taste is really nice. So right up front, tons of sweeter orange, almost has like a blood orange kind of vibe. It's acidic, it's sweet, it's juicy. Right after that, it differs from the nose because the nose, again, was more of like a honeydew melon, passion fruit, pineapple. In the taste, it's more like a mango or like a peach. Then I get some pineapple. And again, it's very sweet and juicy and like sticky fruits. Very nice at the front of the palate. As it continues on, there's a bit of this earthy, herbaceous dank character. I wouldn't say necessarily onion and garlic, but kind of leaning that way. But it breaks up all the monotony of that sweetness. Like there's so much, I shouldn't say sweetness, just the fruity, juicy, sweet characters are really big on the front of the palate, which I personally enjoy. But to balance it out from just going straight on fruit juice and super sweet, you need something, I feel, on the back of the end to balance it out, make it more drinkable and enjoyable, and it does that. It's great. On the back of the palate, it stops it from being too sweet. It stops those fruits right in its tracks and gives you a mild to moderate bitterness and like a semi-dry finish. Really, this is a fucking great beer, honestly. And a lot of times, I'll get collaborations from two hype breweries or collaborations from, one hype brewery with somebody else, and they usually don't live up to the hype in my own head. You'll see a collab and be like, wow, I love that brewery. I love that brewery. You drink a beer like, yeah, it's solid. Nothing special. This, pretty fucking good. Yeah, it's super easy. 8.5%. There's a little bit of like a warming in the chest. Nothing on the palate. And here's what I'll say about that hop burn that I was getting in the nose. Not really getting on the taste. Maybe a very slight, minute hint on the back of the palate, but it's very minor. And after drinking, 3, 4, 5 ounces of this, it's not a problem whatsoever. And I don't think it's going to be by the end of this can. I love the artwork. I just absolutely love the artwork on this label. You got the collaboration between the two. Really cool. I'm deciding between two scores, but we're going to go one more sip and then I'm going to score it. Yeah, I think it's good enough to get Ghost in the Laboratory, collaboration between EQ and Parish. That, my friends, is going to get a low 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.4 out of 5. I was debating between a high 4.25 or a low 4.5. I'm going to go low 4.5. I think what pushes it over the edge for me is that body and mouthfeel. A lot of times, the body and mouthfeel can just make me want to drink a beer regardless of how good or terrible, no, I shouldn't say terrible, but let's say how bland potentially a beer could taste. A lot of times I'll get the body and mouthfeel and be like, I just want to drink it because of that. I don't care if the flavor is just okay. Like, it's fantastic. The flavor is really nice, but that body and mouthfeel kick it up a notch. So 4.4 out of 5 for this one. Price and availability. Dan, I don't remember what you paid for it. I don't know if anybody else did. I know what they were on the website, but I think they were $22 a 4-pack, something like that. It's a collab between two hype breweries. It's $5.50 a can, whatever, it's fine. Availability, I think this was brewery only. You can only get it off of their website, whether shipping within New York State, and I think they shipped to like another 8 to 10 states. But if you really want it and you lived in any of those states, you could easily order it and get it. And I should say easily because it did sell out multiple times. But you could pick this one up if you really wanted to try it, if you lived in any of those states. Otherwise, you got to trade for it. I'm very lucky to have generous friends like Dan and Mike who hook me up with beer all the time, and I'm glad they hooked me up with this one because it's a lot of fun. I'm glad I didn't miss out on it, even though, I don't have FOMO anymore. And for those of you who don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. I used to have that when I got into beer. Pretty much a good, say, maybe 3-4 years ago. I just was like, you know what? There's too much beer being released. There's too much stuff out there. If I miss out on a release, hopefully to do it again. If not, I'll grab something else. And same thing with this one. Was I bummed out that I missed on it? Yeah, sure. Was I sitting there going, all right, whatever. But when Dan said he bought this and he would give me an extra can of it, or Mike would, I was like, that's awesome. And I thanked them for it. But I'm really happy I didn't miss out on this one because it is a fucking delicious beer. So once again, huge thanks to Dan and Mike for this one. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this collaboration. I know a lot of people checked it in on Tapped on my friends list, and there was varying opinions on it as far as scores go. But I didn't see anybody specifically say what they loved or disliked about this beer for the rating. So I would love to hear from you. If you watch the reviews and you're a friend of mine on Untapped, or you just watch reviews in general, if you had it, let me know for real. I would love to hear people's thoughts on this one because I think it's a great collaboration, honestly. So thanks again to Dan and Mike. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.